6:01 now, but alrighty. Wow, this is exciting. Yo, welcome to our first ever. Wow, I can't even speak. Welcome to our first ever podcast, Starting Somewhere. Your co-host, or your host, sorry, I'm so nervous. Your host, Jen Ryan. I'm with my co-host,
Shay, but I go by Shariar. Shay. I go by Shay because Shariar's teacher. I'm nervous. Wow.
Wait, Shay, what?
I'm nervous. Like
It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's amazing.
I was like hyping you up about it, like saying, "Come on, it's just gonna be a normal conversation and everything."
Now,
But
once the cameras start rolling, you just get in this. Anyways, we are supposed to have 3 mics, but we only have 2 because one of my didn't work out. Technical difficulties.
I mean, you know what they say. You gotta start somewhere.
I like that.
Yeah, we should like probably name that.
Trademark that name?
Yeah, trademark it. Probably name the podcast after it, maybe.
Hey, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
I'm really down.
Starting somewhere.
Starting somewhere. So we're just gonna dive right into it. I want to get the nerves out. Just want to.
Yeah, for real. Everyone, we would like to introduce you to the one and only Tim Thorn. Tim, we're so happy to have you here.
I'm really thrilled. For those of you that don't know who Tim Thorn is, he's a fashion icon. He's Houston's native. You are Houston's native, or did I butcher that one? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
he's a Houston designer here in H-Town. I wrote a lot about you because I did some digging. So I wanna intro, proper little intro for you.
Yeah, we're about to just hype this man up right here.
This man left the infamous quote. I looked you up deeply. One of your quotes were
Creepy.
Style. You either have it or you don't.
Wow.
I like that, It was a really dope thing to say for someone that is, in the fashion industry. Your first taste of fashion happened when you were 7 years old? Mm-hmm. That's when you got into the whole, fashion world? Or was that just, you tried it out? Or?
I was about maybe 6, 7 when I was in my first fashion show.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And what was it for? Was it?
It was a church.
Church event.
Fashion show, and that was the first time I'd ever been in a fashion show.
Do you want to say it?
What?
Do you want to say it or can I say it?
You can say it.
All right. I mean, you always got to start somewhere.
That's good.
You started somewhere. The basic of what this podcast is just starting. Let's just dive right into that.
What? I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Okay. We should dive right in. But I mean, I'm pretty sure the people who have their headphones in right now are kind of, they probably want to hear more of Tim introduce more of himself now. Okay. So let's hear it, Tim. Tell us about yourself.
I'm really just a little small town boy, My mom and dad lived here in Houston. And so I was conceived here in Houston in the 5th Ward area. That's where they lived. And so that relationship didn't work out. So my mom moved to Louisiana.
Okay.
And so I ended up growing up in Louisiana.
Wow.
But as you can see, I came back to Texas as quick as I could. And so it's been a wonderful experience just, being here most of my life. Yeah. And the people that I have gotten a chance to meet, like you guys, So, I think living in a larger city exposes you to more.
The diversity of Houston, I'm telling people.
Houston itself is it's a culture of its own.
Absolutely.
I'm from New York, and New York itself is a culture melting pot itself. Absolutely. They have everywhere, but Houston itself is one entity. Yes, Houston consists of so many different cultures and it's diverse and it's rich with everything, but itself, you're a Houstonian and there's so much stuff in Houston that make the person
what they are.
Yeah, what they are. Yeah.
And I think one of the differences, that's a good point that you made. I think one of the differences is compared to New York is a melting pot of cultures. Houston is a melting pot of cultures, but we have the Southern hospitality.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was telling people about there's nothing Southern hospitality is such a real thing, and I don't think people that aren't from the South understand that. It's such a real thing. I went out to Cali beginning of last year, the ending of last year, I went out to Cali, and it's such a real thing. You know, people just walk by you, pass the street, they don't say anything, like, and then here he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Nice little smile, you know, just the
head
slight
nod or something.
Yeah, you know, the smallest little thing. But like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, like in New York, I saw that in Cali, that people just walk past you like nothing.
Yeah, New York is the same.
No.
Yeah,
You know, it's not
everyone
like you
just
don't talk to people.
very fast paced.
Speaking of New York, Fashion Week is it's September.
It actually starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and we have the perfect guest to speak.
Oh wow! Yeah, in honor of Fashion Week, we have the one and only Tim Thorn, Hazley360
Yes.
At Instagram. Yes. Are you showing any collections out in New York this year, or did you decide? Because you were out in China like just a few months ago making a collection. If you could talk a little bit about that collection, because I'm truly interested, because I want to walk for it, but let's just have to throw that out there.
I think you gotta be 6 foot for that, Jen.
A man's dream, right? But please.
Put some height.
Heels.
Hey, just give me like an inch here, I'm good.
Just an inch, right.
But
The funny thing is, yes, I went to China back in June, and I just didn't focus on the collection.
really,
No, I did everything but the collection.
Wow.
I mean, I had my drawings and, you know, the type of fabrics that I wanted. And I got over there and I was just like, I'm not ready to do this collection right now. I want to do some stuff for me. So I basically just created some stuff for me.
oh, okay.
Yeah, to wear, because I'm like, I need to up my game a little bit more, you know? And so I just created some stuff just for me to wear. But I have not really worn it, so I can still show it. But the collection that I am working on and will do is in black and white. My inspiration this past year has been Karl Lagerfeld. And, you know, he passed away a few months ago. And so if you notice anything about his collection, it was always like black and white.
Very
and
noir.
this is just my homage to him.
And so what inspires you to make the clothing? Like, what do you look for in inspiration?
Well, the inspiration for the new collection that will definitely be out in 2020 is, my inspiration has come from Jimi Hendrix, which is an iconic guitar player. It's one of the best ever graced this planet. Almost every guitar player now will tell you that they listen to him to try to mimic, you know, his style, because, you know, he could play with his teeth. He could play with the guitar behind his back. You know, he was the one that would light the guitar, light it on fire.
Yeah.
He was
You know,
he's
yes,
timeless.
yes,
Like his music,
yes.
his art, his everything.
But his fashion, his sense of fashion was so dope.
And that's what inspired.
And that's, Prince got his fashion style from Jimi Hendrix. Because if you notice, Prince would wear lace and, you know, just whatever he felt like, you know. And Jimi Hendrix was the same way. He was a fashion icon as well as a musician.
He wasn't afraid.
He wasn't
to
afraid.
do anything.
And you know, I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the things, especially with a lot of people, they're afraid about what other people will say or what they would think. Now, sure, I think you need to be cognizant of the fact that you don't want to look like a buffoon.
Yeah.
You know, but if you know that this is what you like, it looks good, it's very, you know.
I think of, like, when it comes to terms like that, it's confidence, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's like, especially like in the fashion industry, it's what you wear. It's a statement piece that, hey, not everyone's gonna wear it. So if you're gonna wear it, you better look like damn confident in what you're wearing.
Right. And like, for example, you can have some really nice pieces, but if you don't have the confidence to pull it off, it's not going to look worth nothing. Like, I know people that'll shop at a lot of high-end stores like crazy. Yeah. But when they put it on, it's just like, oh, okay, you're telling me that that's Prada, that's Valentino, but it's like, oh, I had to figure that out, you know, because they don't have the confidence to really rock it. Because when you start getting to a lot of high-end designers, they are more free in what they do, and especially compared to the U.S. and Europe and Asia.
Something, since you brought up the different countries, you told me that we're behind, like America in their fashion, they're behind a few years, right? Or
We are in reference to
Like,
Europe.
Europe,
In
okay.
reference,
Because right now in Europe, what's in is like those pleated pants, you know, the little baggier ones.
everything is baggy.
Yeah, and then here everyone likes the slim fit or the
Yeah.
skinnies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because
Billie Eilish is catching on pretty well. Everything
Billie
she wears.
Eilish, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is that who you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, wait,
Shit, I'm culturing that. Yeah, she's always wearing like baggy clothes.
Right, because you see it there, and if you go there as an artist and you visit, that's what you see, and so you come.
You want to bring that.
You want to bring that back
That
because you want to be fashion forward. You know.
But isn't that kind of like a wordplay though? Fashion forward, but those styles are kind of like replicated.
It is. And the thing too, the U.S. has its own style as well. And right now, the U.S. style is very street. Nothing dressy. You know, we don't care what it is, really. It's like there are very few events now. People will actually just really just.
Can we talk? Can I say something about a U.S. style?
Tread lightly.
Tread lightly. You may have, our listeners may have heard of Visco Girls. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with them?
No.
I'm pretty sure you've seen them in Target a lot and Starbucks. It's basically the white girls who wear those like long t-shirts and they're wearing like Nike shorts, but like it looks like they're not wearing any pants. And like they have the pigtails. Okay. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Is that a fashion do or don't?
I would have to like see what that looks like, but just you just describing it is kind of like
literally a baggy t-shirt.
It just looked like you just woke up and like got out of bed.
The thing is, it's so common. Like, I mean, I'm not even sure if it's like it's becoming sort of like a iconic look, but
I think it's just a staple look. Like everyone just does it just to go. Like, hey, I need to go to Walmart real quick. Let me just throw on.
No,
like, a baggy.
they're in the mall like that. They're in school.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And so
they're not trying to impress anyone.
Back in the 90s, they had this thing called the grunge look, where it just looked like you just got up out of the bed and just
messy
got
hair
out.
and everything.
Yeah,
Just
messy hair.
Coffee
you know, just whatever you had on. You know, it's all wrinkled up, and people were just like freaking out. Yes, because it's like you do not go out in public with wrinkled clothes. And
my mom has this saying that like every time I wear a wrinkled shirt, she'll be like, "Si te coge una plancha," meaning if the iron catches you. You know, like it's gonna mess you up because like you're all wrinkly, you know. So it's like one of those things. So in like my head, like even today, like I ironed my shirt before leaving, you know, because I can't go out without, you know, a wrinkled shirt.
Can't relate. I woke up like this.
He literally came. He goes, "We're having Tim Thorn." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." I'm like, what a fashion piece.
You just put a blazer on.
Yeah, you're fashionable. I want to ask a question, right? What are some, since we were talking about what's that girl?
The Visco
girls?
Basically, Visco is an app. It's kind of like Instagram, but like the demographic is like a bunch of white teenage girls.
I see what you're saying.
And you know what the stereotype of like white teenage girls are usually.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's hopping off on that. It's like a meme right now. Yeah, Dario has that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically that, a giant oversized t-shirt.
Yeah. And
is that a fashion do or don't?
It doesn't look bad. I mean, because for women, big long t-shirts are in.
But okay.
With sneakers.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We're just being assholes.
I was something I think like before we all started, we had a little conversation about that. I don't think they look bad. Do you think they look bad?
Yeah, I think they're horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now
see,
maybe
something like this.
It's like they're not wearing pants. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but now it also depends on too. Like where are they wearing this? Like this girl is on the beach.
That's suitable. Cool. That's suitable.
You know, but like okay, this girl walking around Walmart looking like this. Could you see that?
I can see that, like in Walmart.
Or like
because Walmart's trashy though.
HEB.
But say like if you were on a college campus, going to class. I think it's suitable for that.
I think that's suitable. It's like you don't care. You're rolling.
But like if you went to a concert, like at HTX or something like that, like maybe not so much.
Yeah. Okay. You know. So it's like there's a place and a time for that.
Yeah.
All right. So a question that I want to ask is, what about for fashion, like what you said, Jimi Hendrix was one of your inspiration. Is that your only inspiration, or is there others? Or what do you get inspired? Better question.
Well, the inspiration that I have right now is Jimi Hendrix, and it's the 60s and the 70s look, that retro, vintage kind of look. The and the crazy thing about it is that I feel like sometimes they have like cameras and microphones set up at my house or something, or that follow me in my head or something, because it's like, that's what I've been thinking about for the last couple of years. And all of a sudden, the flare leg is coming out, and I'm just like, but that was what I've been saying like all along.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel you on that, because with me, obviously not fashion. I'm not a fashion piece designer, but with me, all right, with me is like with this podcast, like I stopped listening to podcasts because I stopped trying to get like ideas from like these. I should do it this way, you know.
Great, yeah, because when you were going on that Logan Paul train,
not gonna lie, still a believer in that man, but that's another topic. But I definitely do feel that like you close yourself off, you have these ideas, whatnot, and then it comes into like you start seeing other people, like, so it's like a manifestation in your head, like you're putting it out there.
Right. And I think what it is because when you are like, when you think fashion so much and you do fashion, I don't know, maybe you're just connected more to the universe, and you just know what is gonna come or something, or you help propel that.
Yeah.
That's supposed to come.
And another to add on to this, how can I say it?
I can't read your mind, dude.
Sometimes I can. You worked with tons of models. Obviously, you groom models. You do fashion shows. I've been with you on a few. You molded these male models to walk for some pretty big companies like Jimmy Choo, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein. You know, like these are big brands you worked with.
Yes.
Like, what is it that gives, like we were talking earlier, like a male model that you work with and an Instagram model, you know?
This ought to be good.
This is the conversation.
Yeah, we're about to attack a whole demographic right here.
I mean, this podcast would be called Starting Somewhere.
Aren't you an Instagram model?
I wouldn't classify myself as an Instagram model. I don't get paid, so no.
I mean, do any of them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
true,
you get paid good money. You know, like they get so. But okay, what's the difference between an Instagram model and fashion runway model that you do?
Okay, and that's a good, very, very good question, because everybody now on Instagram that's taking photos think that they are this fantastic model, but they have no experience, and many times they're not even the right. Let me not say right, but let me say the standard. There's still a standard when it comes to runway modeling. For females, you need to be at least 5'7" or taller.
Okay.
For males, you need to be at least 5'11" or taller.
Oh, you made it, Jen.
You know, I'm kind of I'm giving him an inch. So.
Okay. He's just being nice. He's just being nice.
Not gonna lie, I'm telling people my come up is 25, or when I'm 25.
25?
25, my come up.
25.
My glow up, everything. I have this documented, being recorded, first episode, 25.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
25, that's when you'll see Jen around like, oh, okay. Right now, fine. I'll give it to you. Talk all the shit, but wait.
Right.
But no, continue.
Right. So with the Instagram models, they tend to be able to edit and do all this stuff like before the photos are posted. And most of the time, like I said, it's just face and sometimes full body.
Yeah.
But you can angle the camera a certain way to make you look like you're, 5'9" or, even 6 feet or whatever. But that doesn't qualify you as a person that you can put on the runway, because maybe you may be knock-kneed, or you may be slew-foot or pigeon-toe. And
because there's a certain way to walk, right?
There's a certain way to walk. There's a certain way to walk. And so there are dividing lines that can divide the Instagram models from the actual runway models. And if you notice, a lot of times they're Instagram models that have way more following than the actual runway modeling who is, just killing the runway, because of the fact that the Instagram models know how to put forth that glorious looking look.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Well, I mean, because then they're in that's their element.
That's their element, right? So, and they almost like perfected that.
So an Instagram model and runway model completely. You wouldn't put those two together, or like would you hire one before the other?
It really, in most cases, I would say yes. I would probably not hire an Instagram model based on the fact that just in Houston alone, which is now becoming the third largest city in the U.S., there are some of the most incredible people I see walking through H-E-B. And for all of you guys around the world, H-E-B is Henry E. Butt's grocery store here in Houston.
I thought it stood for here everything is big.
Right. Here everything. Right. This is Texas. But I mean, there's some of the most gorgeous folk that never even thought about modeling that I would pull in a minute.
When we did Good Morning Houston, was it Good Morning Houston?
Great Day Houston.
Or Great Day Houston. I apologize to Great Day Houston. But Great Day Houston, the models you had. Now, where did you find those people?
Well, the female models came from
because I know there was one that she was like.
Yeah, she was not one of them. No.
Okay.
She was too short.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was.
I didn't want to say anything, but okay.
But she was real good friends with the boutique owner.
Gotcha.
Right, but no, she was way too short. She was barely 5 feet tall.
Yeah, and so, but I mean, she looked good.
But she was beautiful. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
I don't wanna offend anyone. She looked good.
Yeah.
But I was just going off of that.
Right.
When you do your fashion shows, do you get them who are you looking for? What's your build? Because I know I wanted to walk for you, and you said, "Hey, look, you have to be a 32, and I'm a 30."
Oh, someone's getting emotional here.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know what? That's why I brought you onto my podcast.
Right. Cancel Tim Thorn.
Well, and the thing about me is that
is it just you, or there's other designers, or is that a thing standard?
Well, first of all, there are not that many designers that do men's fashion.
True.
So, I mean, I'm not talking about just Houston. I'm talking about nationwide. Because where's the money? It's not in men's clothing.
True.
It's in women's clothing. And women's clothing is easier to make. You can put together, I can put together a women's pair of pants in an hour.
Yeah.
Because all I need is maybe some elastic and a front and a back. With men, I have to have pockets, I have to have zippers, I have to have snaps, a button, I have to have belt loops, and that's
more steps.
It's that's a week's worth of work.
Do you think it's because men just don't care?
And men really don't care because I talk about this all the time, how that men are lazy about buying underwear. They'll wear the same drawers with the holes in it since they were in middle school. It's
I have these pair that,
and that's the reason why they'll have partners in their lives to say I threw them away, because the only thing that when I took them out of the wash, it was just the rim. There's nothing.
I have these two pairs of. It's one with an old cartoon called Cow and Chicken.
Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, so the cow is on the back, the chicken's in the front.
So have they met yet?
Oh, no, no. Once they meet, then I'll probably throw them away. And then my other pair is a Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, and the same thing about T-shirts and socks. There's so many guys that walk around with holes in their socks. Why? You can get socks, you can get a pack of them for $5.
But it's the ones I'm wearing now, they're no-shows.
Well, yeah.
So, what if a guy's wearing no-shows, or not wearing socks, but he's saying, hey, look, I'm wearing no-shows.
But I'm saying the fact that we know a lot of guys that have socks, whether they're, and most of these are just regular socks that have holes in them. And they have T-shirts.
You know what they say? Anything with holes, you get closer to God. Holiness and holes go together.
All right, and on that note, we're about.
On that note, we're switching to a random
we're just gonna end the podcast. Right, goodbye. It was worth a try.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to do a little segment. It's called Random Questions.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
So-
I like to call them BuzzFeed-ish
Okay.
questions because they're
there's some of
they're
them.
so stupid.
There's some
Okay.
that are
like,
good.
what donut would you be?
Okay, but that's not on here. All right, so a number between 1 and 12, you pick. Shay's gonna read you a question.
7.
7. Read number
What's 7? If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
Martin Luther King Jr. for one. Barack Obama would be 2. And I think number 3 would be probably Karl Lagerfeld
Why?
because he's a fashion icon.
No, like why all 3?
Oh, why all
Yeah,
3?
like-
Well, what Martin Luther King, his whole message was, unity together, civility, that kind of thing. Barack Obama was like the most incredible thing for my generation to see the first black
man.
president of the United States. Because growing up as a black male, that was something that we never thought you could ever be.
No, it did. It definitely that did change the pace on how people view the presidency, or it definitely gave hope. Not
right.
just
Exactly.
for him,
Right,
for
but for all people.
a Latin.
Yeah.
That there's
Right.
never been a Latin in office.
Right.
It definitely gives you hope. Who
Right.
knows? Maybe in a few years, not a few years, maybe way down the line.
I mean, come on.
I run for
We're
presidency.
one step forward, we take 2 steps back. I mean, come on.
Is that how you see it?
That's what has happened.
It's happening,
pretty much.
dude.
Yeah.
That's what my liberal mind says.
Yeah.
I see.
And then Karl Lagerfeld, because he was just a fashion icon, because he was the one that really helped propel Chanel.
Okay.
R.I.P.
And we know that Chanel is like the epitome of fashion.
I like
Exactly.
that.
I've seen a lot of people with face tattoos of those in Gucci.
Right. Exactly. There are really 2 like logos that are like so iconic anywhere on the face of the planet.
The LV.
That's the Gucci,
Oh, okay.
the Gucci and Chanel.
Gucci
the CCs.
The CCs.
They're similar too.
Yeah, they're very similar. But I mean, you could see the CCs together and just automatically know. If you saw them from a distance, you was like, that's either Gucci or Chanel.
Got it.
Yeah, it's true.
The more you know.
But like, for example, with Balenciaga, if you saw the B, you'd be like, is that Balenciaga? Is it Balmain? It's like questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't question Chanel.
But then once you see the shoes
Well,
up like
it's good.
socks, and then
they
you're like,
they
yep,
stapled
Right.
mark.
Balenciaga.
It's a good branding. Let's go on another one. Pick another question.
5.
5. What are you not very good at?
I'm not very good sometimes at staying focused on stuff.
Guilty.
I was just thinking the other day, I was like, I think I have a little touch of ADD.
I honestly think maybe
Just a little touch.
everyone has,
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
think
it's like-
everyone's just always focused.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm through with that now. And it's like, let's go on. Like, I don't want to do that no more. Let's move on. So,
Yeah.
There's so much distraction.
and that can be good and bad,
Okay.
because I feel like when I want to do this, I want to do this.
Mm.
And it's like, if I don't get to do it now, it's like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Gotcha.
So that can be bad because
What do you-
everything doesn't work that quickly.
But it also creates like a bunch of like, I mean, it's bad because it lacks productivity. But at the same time, it also gains because one thing you'll be doing one thing, but then you'll also be doing another thing, and that's just. I mean, for me, I'm not the most focused person either, and I've made a lot of mistakes and very peak prime example.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it pumps up those creative
Yes.
juices as well.
Yes.
No, it really does.
And if I could add one more, I'm a procrastinator too.
Oh,
I feel like
prime example right here. I finished a paper like a 1,000-word paper like literally a few hours
Yeah.
before it was due.
And that's the same way with me. I'll do like stuff at the last minute. But I find that a lot of times I'm more creative because I'm so used to, even when I was going to school, I would like wait till like the last minute to do papers and stuff like that. But when it came to like fashion, like I could just think of stuff at the very last minute. And it's like, who would have thought of that? I'll give you a perfect example. I did a show downtown in Midtown a couple of years ago, and I wore a kilt.
Oh, I saw that.
And I had these long black socks. And at the like few hours before I had to start shipping everything downtown, I had this cross, a big cross like from the Vatican, and I just hung it off the side of my leg.
Wow.
It was actually a bookmark.
That you just.
But it was like from the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
They have those, the Roman Catholic Church,
Yeah,
they have those. It was a velvet ribbon, and at the end of the ribbon was a big cross with a black onyx stone in the middle. And I just took it and I just stuck it down that sock. And when I did my designer walk after I showed my collection, everybody was like, "Oh my God, you are just so amazing!" And
the
like, look at this,
point
just that one. I'm just like, but don't y'all see all the other stuff that I put together? But everybody was so fascinated. But and that's the kind of stuff like
the very last minute.
Yeah.
Every time
inspiration for you comes out of like whatever, our surroundings, all that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, diamonds are made under pressure. That's why I say every time
But
I do a last
sometimes
minute
that's not always
homework.
good because it's like, I forgot to bring such and such because you didn't prepare.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
I just have so many questions to keep asking, so I'm just gonna fire away. What led you to fashion? Like,
What did you do before where you are right now?
I used to teach school.
Whoa! You were a school teacher?
I was,
Now you're walking runways with crosses on your socks? Yeah.
Right. I've worked for the school system I used to teach English. And so I went from English to being like the communication specialist for Houston School District and had a wonderful time with that and stuff like that. I was like, there's still more.
So you're telling me you went from walking a fashion show at the age of 7, teaching, and then now to be a fashion designer.
Yes, because it was always in me
to do fashion. And why?
Because even when I was teaching, they was just like, you are the most fashionable teacher we've ever seen in our lives. Because I needed an audience. So, and then I think I was an inspiration. To, all the students to say, hey,
How long were you in the school system, like teaching and stuff?
I taught for like about 15 years.
Oh.
And then with the English and then I did.
Were you working like while you were teaching? Were you working on like your fashion industry or nothing? You just cut like.
Yeah, I couldn't. That was just too much.
Oh, okay.
I mean, think about it like this. No disrespect to any teachers out there. I mean, I personally I have a great respect for educators. The field I'm going to in college and everything. I don't not see myself being a teacher as well. But just the fact that like you're going to school from an early age. You graduate, then you go for school even more. You graduate just to be back in school.
Right. And that's kind of like the way I was. When I stopped teaching, I was like, okay, I'm not used to,
On the other side.
Not having 3 months off. I went to like not having 3 months off to having
working every
12
day.
months to do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
It's a huge life change.
It's a huge
Because you've been doing something for the past 15 years, waking up at 8 a.m. for the next 4 months then.
Right.
So it's definitely a culture shock or just a shock factor once you cut it. Especially you cut it cold turkey from working then fashion. Like you cut it, you didn't segue.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Because I knew what I wanted to do. And it's like, but I don't want to be, teaching is not going to help me get there.
I mean, and honestly, thank God you quit teaching because if you didn't, you wouldn't have experienced,
Exactly.
We wouldn't have so much inspiration. We wouldn't have all this
Exactly.
Step by step, you're putting Houston, you're doing so much for Houston in general. You're putting Houston on the map.
Exactly.
If you take it that, but let's even with what you're doing with us, how you took me in and you started mentoring me and stuff like that, helping me out with stuff if you were still teaching, I would have never.
Never.
Because the ones that know me know that I I dropped out of college. That school system wasn't for me type deal. But like,
and I think about that. I think about that a lot. That and I've shared this before in interviews where it was a bold thing to do, to just say like, I don't want to do this anymore. Going like against judgment from peers or stuff like that. So like, there's like when I said like fashion, everybody was like, oh yeah.
Oh, they're like, hey.
Yeah, like now if I said I was gonna be a mechanic, diesel mechanic, like it's like, no, you may want to stay in teaching because that's not you, because you don't like to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, mechanic is a dirty job, and you wear some killer outfits.
Yeah, imagine how Tim would look at like how he would dress himself if he was a mechanic. He'd make that look good. Think about it.
With a bow tie on. Alfonso Auto Shop.
You'll have like pre-oil spilled overalls.
Right, with the bow tie. It's almost like that commercial. What is that commercial where the man comes? He's the Maytag man. For the washing machines.
Oh yeah, he's all white and then he's wearing like a little black tie.
Because it's like our machines don't break down, so there's no need for me to get my hands dirty.
Oh man. Since we're like still talking about that school stuff, I mean we've all had.
I'm sorry, you had to speak up to the mic. We only have one.
Might be.
Sorry.
First podcast, guys. I mean.
Sorry, we're learning.
How much time are we on?
I think we're running.
Right on the. We're 36 minutes.
Okay, we're good. Yeah,
we're right on time.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, how long do you want to do this for?
We're doing this for roughly 40, 45 an hour. Okay. I don't know.
I was about to go on like saying. No, let's just make it quick. I mean, like,
no, go.
School is such a cool. Like, I mean, I've had very fond memories from school as students. Then, like, right now, I'm.
Oh, you want to dive in?
I was saying, what's this craziest story?
Oh, okay.
From school, like from your teaching days.
Oh, did you ever break up a fight in high school?
Oh yes, I got bloody.
So
in
you
the
were
process.
a high school teacher.
Yes, high school.
Okay.
And I remember I did break up a fight once. Two boys were fighting, and it was a bloody one. And I had just worn this brand new sweater.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Forget the fighting.
Good choice.
Yes.
Yeah, fashion, good choice.
He always had a fashion sense.
Yes, and I had blood, and I was just like, oh my God, like I am so upset that I got this blood, because I was thinking like, I'm not gonna be able to get this blood out of this brand new sweater.
Oh no.
And somebody told me, say, yeah, if you use Sprite, it'll come out. So I immediately went to the restroom and used some Sprite and stuff like that, and it came out. And the student that had the blood on me, he really apologized. He said, I'm so sorry, but he didn't know it was like I just worn that sweater, and it was like a white, kind of white, off-white. Wow. So But ouch. but normally, like when I was teaching high school, I kind of just like blow the whistle or
break it out.
No, just stand back and say, y'all stop. Because when boys are fighting, that's you can get punched in the face, get your teeth knocked out. I'm like,
Have you ever been in a fight, Jen?
Like not a school fight, but like. Yeah, like me and my friends will fight.
I saw.
Like fight.
It would start off like jokingly, and then it will end
like fight. Like
I wouldn't say
fight.
We are no longer friends, but like play fight, I guess. Like
no.
Play fight.
We're talking about
two
fight.
different.
You fight for what?
Fight for your life.
Oh no, never been in that. But like if I'm fighting, like if let's say you do some dumb shit and we go at it, I've done that.
But then again, the most aggressive and the most passionate and emotional fights are the ones that who are your really close friends. Mm-hmm. Like I mean,
I don't know. With me, I'm more of a. I'll try to de-escalate the situation because I'm not a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a yo, do you really want to do that? Like, is that really necessary?
I grew up in.
My first instinct isn't to fight. My first instinct is to be like, yo, what are you doing?
But if somebody really really makes you mad. I mean, really,
he's trying to do that, so you'll probably see that.
I wasn't able to, but before we started the podcast, I was just picking him, but I couldn't right now because we're just very invested in you right now.
The thing with Shay, he was telling me, he goes, I'm honestly maybe one day I'm trying to get you to get mad, to swing, and so he literally told me, he goes, I want you to punch me one day, and I'm like, yo, that day will come, maybe, you never know, but. Me personally, I don't see because I'm not that type of person. I'm more of a my thing is you disappointed me, and they'll be like, oh, and that hurts people.
But shit, I mean, if I just like, oh, you disappointed me.
I'm pretty sure you'd be
I'm
like,
just gonna like slap you on the
nah,
head.
you'll probably do that, but then afterward you'll be like, yo, I'm sorry, man. Like,
I mean, duh. I mean,
you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, that's all I care about. Like at the end of the moment.
but I grew up in Saudi Arabia like my whole life.
What?
Oh, you didn't know?
That's news. Breaking news.
Are you?
He knew that. He
No,
knew that.
but yeah, so I went to an American school, international school, spoke English and everything. But for 1 year, I went to an all boys school, an Arabic school, and I kid you not, first day got into a fight. English
Really?
right after English class, like because I was talking to like a friend I just made. Because new school, I made a friend, so I was talking to him, and then a kid turns around and goes like, "Hey, can you shut the fuck up?" And I was like, "No." And I continued talking, and then class is over and everything.
Dude, you look for like, you may not look for fights, but like, you're an ass with certain things.
Only to you, dude. I'm not an ass though.
Well, if you
Only
tell
to you.
the kid asks you to shut up and you're like, no.
Well, why would he tell me to shut up?
Why were you
Right.
talking in the first place?
Because the teacher wasn't here.
So you were disobeying rules and he was setting order. I'm just saying.
No, that was a bully.
Yeah, he had a rep. So class is over. 120 minutes. Class is over. I walk out, and he's waiting for me. He pushes me against the wall, and he's like, "Why'd you tell me to shut up?" I was like, "You're the one who said shut up." And he's like, and he has a thick Arabic accent, and then we just go at it. I held my thing because I'm a skinny guy. I was a little shorter, and this guy was huge. Like
Did you beat him down though?
I held my ground. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Who got it worse though? Like, you know how there's like fine. Who was a clear winner?
I
Like,
mean, I don't.
He didn't stump you in the
was-
ground though. You, like you said, you held your ground.
I took him down.
Okay.
So I mean,
So yeah, so if you're watching, what's his name? You know, let's call him out right now.
And so he never bothered you from that day forward, right?
nah, he was a class clown. After that,
But he never bothered you,
no.
right?
Yeah, he did. I mean, he would like
But
mess
never
around with
physically.
me. No.
Yeah.
One time he did like rip my sweater.
After the incident.
Yeah, but I had I had cousins who went to that school, and my cousin was huge. Shout out to Anas. So they stuck up for me, him and his friends. So it was a ghetto school, but I went back to my old school the following year and graduated from there.
Okay.
Not bad,
That
not
didn't quite work out.
I had a couple other fights back in middle school, but
I don't think I've ever been in like a school fight like that. So
You ever been in a community fight, like a neighborhood
Yeah.
fight?
that's what I'm saying. Like a neighborhood fights. Like
You never been in one of those?
I have like with the friends. You know, like how we were
those
talking.
don't count, man.
How do those not count? You're getting in a fight though. It's still like even though you make up at the end of the day, you still got in a fight. Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'll hold my own on this
Yeah.
one.
Because I think the first fight I had was in the 3rd grade,
Oh.
and it was like a school fight.
Really?
Meaning, like everybody in the school
Everyone
knew,
was surrounding
right?
and,
And it's like meeting the trail.
So
Catch me outside type of
And
deal.
so
like,
he had his posse, and I had my posse. I had
Yo.
my follower. So
They're
these
here to
big
just
groups,
run,
right,
you know?
coming. And so when we got in the trail, then somebody put like a chip of wood on my shoulder, or his shoulder, whatever, and he's like, "Knock it off," because we were just like standing, like looking at each other. Nobody was gonna pass the first punch.
So it was like, "What's up?"
So he
It
put the
was a
chip
stare
on,
off.
say hit it off, because then if you just touch me just a little bit, or I touched him a little bit, then he was gonna hit back. We was gonna
okay.
hit, And
So
so
they can
and then
say
and
he
then
started.
somebody pushed us. And then we like, and then it was like over, and then everybody on my side was like, "You won, you won, you won."
So now if you got into fight, people start going like, "World star, world star."
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, before we do wrap up, one final question: what do you hate about your industry, or if there's any?
China.
Like, I don't want to use the word hate, but what I hope could get better is more of an even playing ground when it comes to people of color.
Oh, okay.
And that's even in the modeling industry, because pretty much they want blonde hair, blue eye. When it comes to black and brown skins, it's like, not so much. You know, and the same thing with designing. You tend to see more white designers that get to, be on the bigger stages versus a lot of these incredible black and brown people that's making some dope stuff. You know, it's not until the black and brown people put their dope stuff on big name celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z and, folk like that, and then they wear it, and then everybody clamoring around it. Like, now you want it, or then they'll start trying to copy it, But it's like they've been doing it all along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have an issue with any big like with your designs, for example, or like since you're an independent fashion designer, right?
Right.
Is there a position that you're placed in that you're not willing to be part of?
I haven't experienced that. Because I think my designs are universal.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, that's so rude.
Wow.
Sorry.
First episode.
I'm
Not
sorry.
a good impression. Just
Fire him.
Fire the host.
yeah.
All right. No, I haven't really experienced that because my designs are universal. So like when you see my designs, you don't just see like a black man. You don't just say only black people can wear that. I don't ever want my designs to look like that. I want my designs to look like when you see it, like, oh, I would wear that. There's no color label on the stuff that I make.
And that's beautiful. You're literally that. Shouldn't everything be like that? I mean, that sounds really corny, but
but you would think, because even when I mentioned my inspiration with Jimi Hendrix, it was no different than what the Beatles at that time were wearing, and Zed Leppin, and I'm pronouncing this Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Him and all these other incredible musicians at that time. It was that, remember I said 60s, 70s? Everybody pretty much, whatever color you were, you kind of wore that. The bell bottoms, the flare leg,
There was not really segregation in fashion.
Yeah.
No hate, don't discriminate.
Yeah.
No, but thank you so much for being on the podcast, Starting Somewhere.
Yeah.
First ever.
Yes, inaugural.
Is guest. What a legend, for real.
So we really didn't dive in on everything.
So that means you have to have me back.
Yeah, exactly.
You
see,
Part 2.
there's definitely, because there's something I have written down that we didn't talk about, but you were a fashion judge for Hot Mama pageant, and I really want to talk about that.
Yes.
But that will be the next episode that we get you on.
Yes.
But before we go,
What?
just what's next for Paisley 360? What do you have in store for us?
To get this collection out, for one, that's really the big thing, is to get this new collection out. And then also, I'm looking to expand more, that you'll see me doing stuff more in Hollywood and New York and places like that.
Oh, that's what's up. You definitely, get your foot in the door. Is that it? You good?
I think, do you want to plug your handles out there?
Yes. You can follow me on Instagram at Paisley360. My webpage is paisley360.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Tim Thorn, and also Tim Thorn, designer, runway coach.
All right.
Awesome, guys.
You guys heard it here first. Thank you again for being the first ever to be on this podcast. I don't know where this is going, but it's starting somewhere.
For real,
I'm the baby.
It's
been 9 months.
And for the
9 months in the making.
And for the people who stuck around till the very end, thank you guys so much. We hope for you to come back again for the next one, and the ones that keep coming.
We'll be tuning in weekly. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're watching this. You can follow me at Jennerine. You can follow Shay. Shay,
Don't follow me.
Or keep it a mystery, actually. Don't follow Shay. You know what? Whatever.
But certainly follow Starting Somewhere HTX on Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter. We haven't made a Facebook.
Well, I don't think we're going to make
Facebook.
Facebook.
I don't think we're going to do Facebook.
But Twitter, I guess.
YouTube, Starting Somewhere. We're going to be on Spotify. By the time this is out, you're watching on Spotify, iTunes. We're going to Anchor. We'll be on all that. Definitely tune in to Starting Somewhere. I think
Title?
Title what?
Wow.
What's title?
It's for hip hop.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Jay-Z and somebody else owns
Buster
it.
Rhymes, okay, be on Title.
But I don't know. We're
You know freestyle?
No, you know I can't sing.
All right, so we won't be on Title.
No, but I don't know. This is an amazing feeling. Thank you guys so much. Like you said, if you've tuned in this long, we appreciate you.
I just said
I'm
that.
excited.
I just said that.
And if you have
That's what
any
I just said.
questions, you know,
I like how he breaks us up.
you can hit any of us up. Or if you have questions for me,
No, definitely. If you have, you know what, we'll do that. If you have any questions, be bold. Leave them down below. Do I look at this camera? Okay, cool. Just making sure. Leave it down below. You know, Tim, if there's any questions, we'll definitely get you back on, and then we'll read those questions.
Yes.
Definitely, there's so much to dive in.
Yes.
But like we said, thank you so much for tuning in or for coming on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm excited.
We're just blabbering.
Yeah, we're just blabbering.
All right, bye guys.
Take it easy.